a tiny ship with a big heart. She was small, just over 1,300 tons, barely the length of a football pitch. But in 1935, the Royal Navy gave her a name that would blaze into history: HMS Glowworm. Built as a G-class destroyer, Glowworm wasn't meant to fight alone. She was designed for speed, escort duty, and torpedo attacks. With 4 4.7-inch guns and 10 torpedo tubes, she could pack a punch, but only if she got close. And that would prove both her strength and her curse. In the early years of peace, Glowworm patrolled the Mediterranean. She escorted the fleet, trained new crews, and even rescued the crew of her sister ship, HMS Grafton, after a collision. But her peacetime career was short. By September 1939, the world was at war. Glowworm was quickly pressed into wartime duty, hunting submarines, escorting convoys, and braving winter storms in the North Sea. She was tough, fast, and well commanded. But fate had something far greater and more terrible that lay ahead for her. In April 1940, Germany invaded Norway, and HMS Glowworm was ordered north into freezing, hostile waters. What she found there would change history. As German forces surged into Norway, the Royal Navy scrambled to intercept enemy convoys. On April 5, 1940, HMS Glowworm set sail from Scapa Flow with the 4th Destroyer Flotilla, tasked with supporting the heavy cruiser HMS Renown. But disaster struck early. A man was swept overboard in stormy seas, and as Glowworm turned back to search, she became separated from the rest of the fleet. Alone in the Arctic, far from support, she continued her patrol, because turning back wasn't in her or her crew's nature. 2 days later, on April 8, she made contact with enemy ships, German destroyers, part of the force escorting Admiral Hipper, one of Nazi Germany's heavy cruisers. A Leviathan compared to Glowworm. Glowworm engaged the destroyers first, opening fire in heavy seas, her guns booming in the grey. But then came the real threat. Out of the mist loomed the Admiral Hipper, 14,000 tons of steel and firepower. Glowworm's captain, Lieutenant Commander Gerard Roop, was now facing a ship more than 10 times his size, heavily armored, bristling with 8-inch guns. But Roop did not turn away. As the Admiral Hipper trained its massive guns, Glowworm charged. Shells tore through the destroyer's thin skin, but she kept closing the gap. Her forward guns barking defiantly, scoring hits on Hipper's superstructure. Then, in a move almost unheard of in modern naval warfare, Roop made a fateful decision. He ordered a ramming attack. With her decks on fire and her hull torn open, HMS Glowworm turned toward the cruiser and slammed into the side of Admiral Hipper at full speed. The impact tore open Hipper's hull and badly damaged her starboard side. But Glowworm paid the price. She rolled, took on water, and began to sink. But even in her dying moments, she fired torpedoes, trying to land a final blow. Hipper, stunned and wounded, could only watch as the British destroyer slipped beneath the freezing waves. Of Glowworm's crew of 149, only 31 survived. They were pulled from the sea by their enemy, by Admiral Hipper's own crew. And the German captain, Helmuth Hay, was so moved by Roop's courage, he did something extraordinary. In the cold aftermath of battle, something happened that defied the rules of war. German Captain Helmuth Hay, impressed by the bravery of Lieutenant Commander Roop and his crew, took the rare step of contacting the British Admiralty through the Red Cross. He recommended Roop for the Victoria Cross, the highest award for gallantry in the British Empire. It was unprecedented. A German naval officer recommending his enemy for the most sacred of military honors. The report from Hay described Roop's actions as honorable and gallant, a rare acknowledgement of heroism that transcended nations and uniforms. After the war, the survivors' testimonies confirmed the story. And Lieutenant Commander Gerard Broadmead Roop was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross, becoming the first naval VC of World War II. Glowworm's wreck still lies off the coast of Norway, a steel tomb in the deep. She was outgunned, outclassed, and alone. But in the end, she fought like a lion. And in her final charge, she reminded the world that courage isn't measured in tons of steel, but in the will to fight, no matter the odds. Glowworm was a destroyer in name, but a lion in spirit. From the gun decks to the bridge, every story we tell honors those who served. If this tale made you feel the salt and steel of history, give it a like, and if you're not yet part of our channel's convoy, subscribe and join the ranks. More powerful stories await.